Welcome back to the This Week in Fantasy series. I'm your host, Wiley, and joining me are two of the most talented players in our league, and quite frankly, two of the most intelligent guests I will ever have on this program. The 7-0 Might, Jaxon. Introduce yourself.
Greetings. I am having a good season, but I'm still nervous. I gotta stay strong for the rest of the year.
Alrighty, and my second guest, the Aggie, Spencer.
Sup?
Two people that have been on the show before, two people that are renowned for their knowledge. Let's jump right into it. So let's begin with the standings, actually. We have me in first in my division, holding both the point and head-to-head advantage over Weston, with old Goucher bringing up the rear already about halfway into the season, and Lily threatening to go winless. So what do you think about this division, Jaxon?
I mean, it's a two-man race for sure. I mean, Christian's out. There's really no way he can really get back into it with only four teams making the playoffs. And then obviously 0-7. We're just trying to see which team loses to her first. She didn't really have a bad team, as you see in Weston's power rankings. She has two wins less than Clap for Bacon, but she's above him in the power rankings. So I don't know. And honestly, she was one of my closest games on the year. So, but yeah, I think it's a two-man race. Whoever finishes at the end of the year. Sucks that Johnny Football doesn't have Fournette. So we'll see how he does. But he's done pretty good without his first-round pick, going 5-2.
So if you had to pick someone to win this division, Spencer, who do you think it would be? Because I don't think it's really deniable that it is a two-man race.
In my forecast, I have you losing your division and Weston winning.
Is it going to be close?
I think it'll be pretty close.
Alrighty. So moving on to the division of death, Gruden's Grinders. That is our guest Jaxon here, sitting with a mighty 3-game lead. And when you establish a 3-game lead this early on into the season, it's something you can really use to put a stranglehold on the division. Jaxon, how have you done it?
I really just gotten lucky to get fucking Gurley in the draft and then to pick up Connor. I mean, I don't know. My team's amazing this year. It's just scoring more points than everybody, 100 more points than anybody else. If you go to the breakdown standings, I'm 33-0 over the last 3 weeks, 71-6 on the year.
Wow.
I just have been killing it this year. So I don't know. I want one of the teams in my division though to push for one of those playoff spots, and it's nice staying up here at the top, just watching everything. It's kind of like I'm just kind of getting to watch from the outside looking in because there is some good playoff races going on.
That boy Jaxon be higher than Kami's house. And when I say Kami house, of course I mean Kami's Lookout. So Spencer, you're 4-3. You're tied with the new guys. And it's looking pretty rough because both Weston and I are looking pretty potent, and the wild card spot's no guarantee. But I feel like the wild card spot's definitely more in reach than the division. Right now, if you had to put a percentage chance on it, what is the percentage chance that you make the playoffs?
I honestly, obviously you're biased because it's myself, but objectively, I have a really soft schedule coming up. Next time I play Jaxon, Gurley's on bye. I still might lose, but that's definitely advantageous. I honestly think it's pretty likely I win the next 3 at least, and then hopefully I can beat Jaxon. I honestly think like my Week 14 matchup could be a big deal because I could be in contention with Weston for a wild card, and that's when I play him. And the tiebreaker may be the difference between who makes it and who doesn't.
That will be an excellent game to look forward to.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So moving on from the division of death, in my opinion, probably the most compelling division as we see the most firepower coming out of it in 3 very active owners. And etc., which quite frankly I don't like very much at all as a name. We see No Fried is pretty out ahead of everyone. Ben's team is hamstrung by Le'Veon Bell, and he had the Olsen injury, and I would say that it's an average team with potential to go off. But the rest of it is sort of mediocre, I would say. What do you guys think about this division?
I think No Fry has a good team. Don't get me wrong, but I think he's definitely benefited from the division that he plays in. Aaron's team really hasn't been that great this year. I don't really look at Cameron as a good owner. He did have an all right draft, so he hasn't been that bad this year. But he's just, he doesn't start the right people week to week. But he does have Barkley, so he's been helped out a lot this year. But I've really liked what I've seen. Ben's, added people every week. He's really, started with a hole kind of without a first round pick, and he's done a good job on the waiver wire, picking up guys. And it sucks to be 3-4 right now, and it doesn't look good for him because there's other good teams. But I think he's done a good job this year.
Yeah, I agree. Ben has done a great job on the waiver wire. For sure, he's got a lot of guys that in some of my other leagues I've been picking up when I have needs. I honestly think that he should have sold Bell. I think he's kind of fallen too far behind the playoff race. He's got some really brutal matchups coming up, and Bell coming back isn't even a sure thing. I mean, he said he was coming back after the bye, and now that's apparently not true. I think he has to come back by week 11, though. Otherwise, he forfeits his free agency.
So this division, do you guys think No Fry's going to take it down?
Yeah.
I'm kind of torn. I mean, look at his team. Gordon had a tweaked hammy last week, I think. Smallwood has an injury that came out today. He picked up Doug Martin, who has an average of 4 yards a carry in the last 3 years, and it's just bad. So if you look at that, he really doesn't have any running backs if Melvin Gordon is out. And he's got some really, obviously, Travis Kelce's amazing, one of the best tight ends.
Yep.
And Cousins is airing it out a ton. And that'll get him some wins, but I mean, he's pretty weak at running back, honestly. And I don't know. I think that could hurt him down the stretch, especially. I don't think I would be more scared of Cameron because as long as he's doesn't start, as long as he just starts Rodgers and Barkley, he can just luck into so many wins. That's 60 points some weeks. Honestly, Barkley's amazing.
Barkley's been unbelievable. I doubted it. You hear every year about how, this next Giants running back is going to be the real deal. Barkley was actually the real deal. And I know they got Nate Soldier, and of course their big man, Mr. Blonde Hair OBJ, is back. So that's a weapon. They can't stack the box like it's Dallas. But, it is what it is. Hopefully Cameron finishes with the winning record. Fun fact, the best record Cameron has ever had is 500, which is sort of just very, very representative of a lot of his seasons. But I hope he can turn it around. So now we're going to move on to a segment called Quick Hits. And essentially this segment is new, and what I'm going to do is ask you guys a question, and then Jackson's going to answer first, and then Spencer's going to answer, and the answers are always going to be percentages. So the questions are going to be percent chance that No Fried wins the division. Jackson will simply say 80 or whatever he thinks, and then Spencer will say the number, and then I'll move on to the next question. We'll probably do 3 of these. Are you guys ready?
Yep.
Alrighty. So quick hits. Percent chance Jackson goes undefeated. Jackson.
I don't think there's a very good chance of that. I would say 10%. I think I can get to 10-0. I don't think my next 3 matchups are that bad, but I do not like my matchup versus Spencer No Gurley week 12. I think I'll definitely lose before the season's over. I'll give myself a 10% chance.
Spencer?
I actually give him a higher chance than that. I thought initially at the beginning of the year when I thought his team was really Gurley-centric, and I didn't realize how much of a threat Adams would be. His team ended up being a lot better than I expected it. I think it depends on Bell to some extent, but I would give it like 25 maybe of going undefeated.
Nice. Okay.
Sorry, that wasn't a quick hit.
That's okay. Let's try to, for this specific segment, quick hits, let's try to make the answers real brief.
All right.
All right, quick hits. Percent chance that Lily goes winless. Jackson.
10% chance
Okay.
she'll get a win.
Alrighty. Spence?
0, she's going to get a win.
Okay. And final one, percent chance that Weston misses the playoffs completely.
I'm going to say there's a 50% chance that Weston's going to miss the playoffs.
Yeah, that's about right. 50.
Okay. Good job, guys. Let's move on to reviewing last week's matchups. A favorite pastime of mine, only when I win. Let's start with my win. Me versus Ramp. We had me putting up a decent 104, despite, David Johnson's in an offense that was so bad. There was some coach firing going on. Ebron didn't show up the week I needed him. Vinatieri had some really goofy misses in a game where he should have scored a lot of points. But I want to know what Jackson has to think about this game.
I mean, I think it's a game that you needed to win. I think you lost 2 in a row.
Yep.
You know, you had a pretty solid output from most of your players, and then Rams defense did pretty good. And, you know, Aaron's team is just reeling. He hadn't added the right people in the waiver wire. Kamara's not going off like he was at the first of the year. You know, you won by 20. So got 0.30 out of Bray, 2.7, 2.6 out of Diggs and Boyd. You know, his players really didn't perform.
Yeah, do you think that Chimera's sort of faltered, decreased production since Ingram has come back, even though it's been a small sample size, is that going to be the death knell for Aaron?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the death knell for anybody that has Kamara. That's why he wasn't number 2 on pre-draft stuff, because you had to, that there was going to be this impact these first 4 games because, Ingram wasn't there. And then, boom, Ingram's going to come back and it's going to go back to being balanced. So it's just, Kamara's going to have good weeks, but it's not going to be those 30, 35-point weeks that he was having.
Yeah, I remember Spencer telling me that Aaron would always hype up his Chimera pick after Chimera had a big week. And, of course, Spencer has Ingram, so Spencer is sort of the other side of the coin. Spencer, will you talk about that a little bit?
I mean, I think Jackson hit the nail on the head. There's a reason why Kamara wasn't one of, I call him, the big 4, Bell, Gurley, David Johnson, and Ezekiel Elliott. He's a tier below because you're drafting into a timeshare. The question mark was how much of a timeshare. And I personally thought the logical assumption was Kamara isn't really the kind of back that just you run between the tackles over and over and over again. He's the change of pace back, and those guys will always lack in touches. Ingram is the grinder. He should at least get 40 to 50% of the touches. In a worst case scenario, I actually was leaning more towards maybe 55 or 60 potentially. And obviously it'll vary on game script some, but that was kind of my thinking. And it was a bad pick by Aaron, and I think we'll see that going down the stretch. So.
All right. I think this game is pretty cut and dry. Aaron had a lot of guys perform very poorly, and it's time to move on. We had the new guys posting a very solid 110 versus old C. Goucher, who posted a solid 91. 91s I think is passable. Matt Ryan put up around 20. The San Francisco running back he started got him negative. Can't find anything at tight end. Christian's team, it has some strengths, but it has a lot of holes, as C. Gouch's teams always do. So what do you guys think about this one?
I think it's quarterback heavy, or not heavy, but if his quarterback doesn't go off, he loses. But at the same, because it's either Matt Ryan just goes off or Matt Ryan gets him a 15, 20-point game, and that's that's the 15, 20 points that he's down. Now Breida getting injured, Breida's been solid, but I have him in another one of my leagues, and it sucks starting him every week and him getting injured every single week. He leaves every single game each week, but he's still, he's projected over 10 every week. And this is the first time that he's really done actually bad. So that sucks. That would have been another 10 from him. OBJ did good. Galladay didn't get his TD, but it's not a bad team. It's just you can't have those spots where people don't perform, and he has a couple of those.
It's also the first week Derrick Henry has done anything.
Yeah,
that's noteworthy.
Yeah, for sure. And not to say the new guys team played very well. Ertz got his 13, Evans 10, and then Luck had 22, and then Hunt with the 32. And a 110 is a lot in this league, so that was a good that's a good amount of points. The new guys played good this last week.
Yeah, Hunt really, really went off. Like, a lot of times when you think of the Chiefs, you're like, oh, they air it out. It's almost like the Texas Tech offense in the NFL, but with some Andy Reid gimmicks. But when Kareem Hunt punches it in, it's really great for Kareem Hunt owners whenever they use him in the passing game, because they pass so much that he's going to get his, and they don't have to rely on them going out there and giving him draws. Zach Ertz getting a ton of yards. This is a good team. This is a team with a lot of weapons. Although, personally, I'm not a huge fan of Andrew Luck.
Yeah. He really didn't throw for that many yards last week. He just threw a lot of TDs.
All right, let's move on to probably the best matchup of the week. Gruden's Grinders versus One Johnny Football Please. Certainly the most impactful, as Jackson remained undefeated. Cam Newton had a big day. Gurley was Gurley. Nick Chubb, who you very quickly picked off the waiver wire, had a good day after that guy was traded, Carlos Hyde, down to Florida. Jackson, talk about this very important win versus a very good team.
I honestly got lucky. This is a week that I thought I would lose. This is a week I really thought I would lose, and then I really didn't want that because I'd been tied with somebody at that point. So, but the reason I say that, no Devontae Adams, no Connor, two guys that are key parts of my lineup. And I honestly got lucky with getting Chubb during the week because, if I didn't have him, I would have had to start Crowell, and I wouldn't have won. Michelle's injury was really the big kicker when he went out. That was huge, So, but my team did just enough. The defense that I picked up had 19. His defense had 3. And then, Newton, if you watch that game, Newton did not have any points really going into the fourth quarter, and then he got all that in the comeback.
Yeah, the Panthers scored all their points in the fourth quarter.
And the funny thing was Wentz was going off in the first, and it was like, oh, God, and then somehow Newton has 7 more points than Wentz. Mixon not doing anything against Kansas City was huge. I was sitting there up 14, thinking that Butker and him were going to get 25. I was going to be down by about 10, and that didn't happen. Mixon got shut down.
I watched the Panthers game with Weston, and he was super happy in the first half. And I told him, I'm like, I've seen this script before, man. Cam Newton, he always takes the first 3 quarters off, and then decides he's gonna get 20 points in the fourth quarter. He did that when I had him every other game. But so yeah, I'm sure Weston is pretty upset about that.
Dude, it was back and forth too. Not to mention late in the day, Gurley's getting his 3 TDs that he's been getting me every week, and every time he's scoring, Michael Thomas would get a TD, and then his 3rd TD. Right after that, I'm watching Red Zone. They go to John Brown catching his TD, and it's just he was just matching Gurley and for each TD that he was getting. So it was close.
I got a hypothetical for you, Jackson. So,
all right,
what if the Rams are 14-0 or 13-0? What does that mean?
They're resting Gurley.
And Goff.
And Goff. That doesn't look good for me. But that raises my eye to trading Gurley. I can get a lot of value from him, probably 2 other backs. That would fix my Connor problem. It might be a good trade opportunity. That's what I'm thinking.
But you'd have to do it now without knowing, like, if he would
Yeah.
end up playing.
Yeah, I would.
Alrighty, let's move on to the next game. This, of course, was a very impactful win for Jackson, not just because he remained undefeated, but because Weston dropped down from first to second after getting a sweet, sweet taste of the top, like an Astros fan. We got Cam here against old Stephen A. Ray Spence, and Spence pulls it down with 8888. It's not the this is Jimmy 9999, but it's almost as good because you played Cameron and he put up 81. Look how many guys Cameron had that failed to break 10. Deshaun Jackson, he got close and was, decent. But Ricky Seals-Jones, of course, tight ends, holy shit, I misclicked. Tight ends very thin. And Demaryius Thomas, bad, even though they fucking put up 45. Both Sterling Shepard and Landry had good days on Cam's bench. What do you think about the way that Cam managed this game, and did he deserve to win?
No, I mean, he didn't deserve to win. I mean, I hate Demaryius Thomas, so Demaryius Thomas would never be in my lineup. So that would have gave me the points to win. Like, I would have definitely started Sterling Shepard on Monday night. That was a really good matchup against Atlanta. Like, he just needs to get a new fantasy advisor. Like, that would have been a perfect start.
Yeah, I would have started Landry, I think.
And Landry
They
over
both had
Deshaun Jackson. So, I mean,
I would have flexed Landry, I think. That's the only thing I would have done different. Because, I mean, Deshaun Jackson's been pretty consistent.
Yeah, I think that both Landry and Shepard are better options with their matchups over Thomas.
I mean, and I think Powell got hurt, so he's going to be even thinner at running back going forward.
That'll be brutal for him.
Yeah, Powell's out for the season. He had some weird herniated disc.
And it would have been nice if Andy Dalton would have had one of his, better games, but he got 7, so that's not really what you want from a, spot start from your quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was picking up Winston part of that, knowing he was Rodgers was on bye? Or was that just
What do you mean?
Well, you picked up Winston this last week. Was that just because he had a good week, or was that like countering because you knew Billabong had Cam?
I figured Cam would go with Dalton. It more has to do with, like, I'm getting really worried that Goff is. I think Goff is a great player, but the way the Rams game scripts are, I have no clue when he's going to go for 40 or go up for 15.
Yeah.
And I know I think I told Wiley this, and I definitely told Weston this weekend. The Bucs completion rating on average is 73% on defense, like opposing quarterbacks. That's like the NFL record quarterback completion percentage, but they're doing it every week. So they're going to be playing from behind, and even though I don't think Winston is talented, like, they're going to have to play. They're going to be in boat races every single week. And I think it's more like, I think Goff is way more talented. I think Goff is really talented, but I think I want to be in a quarterback who's going to be in boat races. Plus, when the playoffs roll around, Goff might not be there. So it's both of those.
Spencer
I
picks
see what
up,
you're saying.
Yeah, and Spencer picks up a much-needed win here. Cameron, of course, is heading into that little time period where he is known to choke, and he is heading into it with a losing record. No Fried destroys Clapfor, who puts up an atrocious 43. Guys, please just talk about this, because when I saw this, it was almost too horrific to be believable.
I just wish I would have been playing No Fried this week. I mean, someone that was 4-2, and scoring 77, like, that doesn't even deserve a win. So it's just like, but I mean, I know he didn't have Melvin Gordon, so let's say Melvin Gordon would have played. He didn't have another running back on his team, so he couldn't have put anybody in. But say he would have played, that might have been like 20 more points, 97. Okay, that's a good output. But I mean, on the other side of things, yeah, this team is just not not good crap for bacon. Just not a good output from them.
Anything to add, Spence?
Yeah, you covered it. Um, Melvin Gordon getting hurt was like, I just feel like he's always had hamstring injuries, and like that's really well known to be like the most lingering of injuries. Like hamstrings seem to never go away. Even like Fournette's a perfect example. Like last year, it was a hamstring injury. A year later, it's still a hamstring injury, among other things. But the hamstring is what's reoccurring. So I think that's kind of noteworthy that if he loses Gordon, like, does he even win the division? I don't think he does. Like, Gordon's definitely out. He's out with a bye this week, and if he's out for like 2 more weeks, like, I have a really hard time seeing him win.
Well, look how heavy his team is with Falcons and Chargers, and they're both on bye this week. He has 4 people on bye last week. Like, he didn't really plan well for 7 and 8. So yeah, I do think that there is a possibility that those other teams can come back. Because I think he's going to lose this week against me with those bad buys that he has, and then if anybody of them wins, those 2 guys behind him, they're just 1 game back of him.
Yeah, that's true.
If you look at Crap Force team, man, it is rough because it's sort of the result of someone who went all in on Deshaun Watson and Jimmy G. You know what I mean? If
Yeah.
you look at this, and like his running back one, the wife
McCoy.
abuser who runs for the fucking Bills. Are you kidding me?
He's got 10 once.
It's just brutal. It's brutal, dude.
Barber, they projected Barber like 10 like they do every time. He got his usual 3.
Yeah, it's just
Hopkins is his only good player. Sanu's had good weeks. He picked him up on the waiver wire the week he starts him. He's crap. But at the same time, who's on his bench? Nobody on his bench did anything.
Yeah.
Allen Robinson got 0.4.
yeah. There's not much to say.
Yeah, we need to move on. This game was a bloodbath. This was a good one, though. Mahomes is where the heart is, keeps Lily winless despite Lily putting up triple digits. Tom Terrific and James White combined for a droopy 42. James White already high value, increasing with the Michelle injury. Zeke was shit and pretty much lost Lily the game. That's my takeaway on this one. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, the reoccurring theme with Mahomes is Mahomes and Hill saves the day. Ben said it in the chat a couple weeks ago, and I think it's funny he's starting 2 backs for Chicago. I guess he got tired of picking the wrong one each week, so he decided to start both of them.
I'll do them both. They both
Carry on at flex. He did not start Marlon Mack though. And that would have been a nice 29 points. Would have really made this one an easy win for him if he would have started him. I hope he puts him in his lineup in the next coming weeks. Good production out of Gordon and Hill.
Yeah, that's about it. I think Josh Gordon is going to turn into the Patriots' best receiving weapon. They're giving him a ton of looks. He's a really talented player. I've been really impressed with. I think like him and Sam might be the 2 deepest teams in the league in terms of like they just have so many options.
Yeah, Kupp's out for the injury. If Ben can stay in it, it's gonna be scary when he has Bell back.
Yeah, a lot of the playoff teams are really going to have to worry about Ben regardless of whether he actually makes the playoffs. I think at the end of the year he's going to be one of the more feared teams.
I think he's gonna be one of those that he may be out of it, but he's just not helping other teams out, just knocking other teams down the totem pole that are trying to get there.
Lamar Miller had his first decent showing since week 1, and Lily still lost. They've got a feel for Lily because she had some horrific weeks, and she's had some pretty decent weeks, but the times where she's decent, she sort of runs into a powerful team.
Her wide receivers have just been awful. Des Bryant's still on bye. What is this, week 7, week 8? He's on bye now. And then Zeke didn't perform.
I think it's funny that Robbie Anderson to me was like an obvious flash in the pan. Like he was really
Well,
underrated.
yeah, but I almost added him because I mean
Yeah,
Moon
I
was
did
out,
too. Yeah.
and the fact that that Pryor was out too. I was like, they got to throw to somebody. It's either they're going to be him or Curse, and he just didn't score a TD. He got 44 yards, no TD though.
Do you know what the passer rating was of whatever their quarterback? What's his name?
Darnold?
Yeah, Sam Darnold. Do you know what his passer rating was?
What?
No,
It's like 7.
yeah, he
Yeah,
didn't.
he had a
He
passer
has
rating of 7.
his he has his games, and then he has these games where he just looks like a kid. It's just I don't know.
I mean, that actually was a decent pickup because I was in the same boat. I was like eyeing it, and I was like, no, I don't think it's worth it. I don't want any part of that offense. But
He was actually really good last year. That's sort of what I was comparing it to. It's like he actually put up solid numbers last year.
I mean, he had 10 targets, I think. Yeah, he had 10 targets. He just didn't catch any. I don't know why she's starting Fitz. That's the more confusing part to me.
What? She doesn't have anybody else.
I don't get still having Dez.
Like she spot started Robbie Anderson. Like all she had. Like look, like Amari Cooper had a concussion. Des Bryant doesn't have a team.
Yeah, I think we're spending too much time analyzing this. It's
All right.
just not good management.
I mean, even the week that she played me, she could have easily beat me, but she just started the wrong people. I mean, I said on this like what she needed to do, and she.
Didn't.
It's kind of funny.
And lost. Let's start with Cam's game, being Bong 3 Ragnarok versus the new guys. This is
That's a big game.
it's a very important matchup. Both of these guys need wins badly. Andrew Luck, I think, will have a great day against Oakland. Aaron Rodgers is back for Cam, but he's facing the solid LA defense. What do you guys think about this one?
No projection for Powell. We'll see what he can get there.
Powell is out for the season.
Yeah, no, he's
So-
done.
So he's getting nothing from Powell. He's gonna plug in Duke Johnson, knowing Cameron, which is actually not a bad option. I think he'll get more looks with Hyde being traded,
Yeah,
but his tight end is just so much worse. Like
Yeah, 10
Yeah.
points at least.
Ertz is the best tight end in the league. Like,
I
for sure.
just the new guys are just kind of like consistent week to week. Like they get a good amount of points. Like you got a good amount of good people on this team. So I just think that that'll happen again. He doesn't have a defense plugged in right now either. But and obviously Cameron always makes mistakes. He'll probably leave one of these, Shepard or Landry on the bench, and they'll go off. So that's probably what'll happen.
Alrighty.
Yeah,
Do you guys think that Christian McCaffrey is like a threat? He hasn't gotten many touchdowns this year.
PPR or half PPR like that we play, I think he's a little bit better, but not in standard.
Yeah, I
yeah,
think
he's a nice RB2 in standard though. I would say.
Yeah, I agree.
so.
Just the thing is about it is where you have to draft him, it's not worth it.
Yeah, people consider him almost like an RB1. Some people really like him. But so, what are you guys thinking, projection-wise or prediction-wise, about this one in general? You can sort of take it away.
Go ahead.
I'm really on the fence. I think it's pretty close, and it's really hard to know what Cameron is going to do. I actually think Cameron should probably win this game, as insane as that sounds. If you look on paper, like Sam has a lot of tough matchups. McCaffrey against Baltimore, Hunt against Denver, Luck against Oakland, like is a good matchup, but I think they're going to run out the clock. So Luck might not even be that. Like he might get like 15 and then they just run out the clock. A lot of Jacksonville matchups. Though Jacksonville been pretty vulnerable. And then on the other side, like I think Aaron Rodgers is going to have his best game of the year against the Rams. Like they're going to be in a boat race. He's looking more like the Aaron Rodgers of old. Like I think him and Goff could both go for 30. I mean, yeah, like there's going to be so many points in that game. It's going to be crazy. And then obviously Barkley. And the only real weakness with Cameron's team is tight end. And even Ricky Seals-Jones like could potentially get a touchdown. I don't know. I really like his team, and then the Patriots are playing Buffalo, so that's like 20. Just a lot points from a lot of positions. I probably think I would play Landry over Demaryius Thomas, or yeah, that's probably who I would go with. But we'll see.
Yeah, I agree that Bill Long seems good. I just think he won't plug one of those guys in, and if he would, he'll win. But if I think you're gonna get a good amount of points out of Ertz. I think big keys is if Fuller goes off or not. If he doesn't do anything, that's not going to help the new guys out. I don't like the McCaffrey matchup, like you said, but I don't hate the Hunt matchup. I think the way Denver played in the secondary that first matchup. The only way Kansas City really started getting the ball going was when they were running the ball. So I think that they're going to come out, use Hunt heavy like they have the last couple of weeks. I think Luck has a better projection than 17. I think the new guys win, though.
I also edge new guys. I think Evans will have a good day, and Kareem Hunt will have a big day. Even though they're playing Denver, they're playing at home, and obviously Sam's going to be able to figure out what to do with defense, so I edge to Sam. Let's go to saving Matt Ryan, not Max Ryan, against Maximum Kellerman's. And Phil Rivers is going to be swapped with Trubisky. So Derek Carr versus Trubisky. Trubisky's playing the Jets. Derek Carr's playing Indy. What do you guys think about that one?
I don't like the Carr start. That's pretty bad. It's like starting like a Bortles or a Flacco. And
but
then
worse, he just lost his best weapon.
Yeah, and then Trubisky versus Jets. We'll see. I look at the Jets as not a bad team. I think they're 3-4, not a bad defense. So we'll see if Trubisky's on this week or if he might have one of his off weeks or something. I don't know.
Trubisky reminds me a lot of Cam Newton. I think with guys like that, when they have like potential to rush, their floors get so much higher. I think he's going to get at least 20, right? Like the way he's been running it. I don't know. I think I edge Trubisky though.
Definitely. You look at Dalvin Cook, he's been injured, and Latavius Murray has been doing really well. Drake has been decent. I'm definitely giving the edge to Drake there.
I agree.
You talk about Dalvin Cook. Wait, you said Dalvin Cook. Is Dalvin Cook even playing?
He's been
Yeah.
hurt, but I think
I'm just assuming he's not going to play or play 5 snaps and leave.
So he's going to have to go with Alfred Morris and Breida. It's going to be fun.
That's one word for it. I think Chimera gets at least 8, which is probably going to be better than whatever Seagouch can scrounge up.
I think Kamara has a big game against Minnesota, honestly. I think he has one of his better games. I think he's more impactful against a team like Minnesota than Ingram will be.
I give the receiver advantage to Seagouch as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's close, though. Boyd, Diggs, and Edelman have all been known to have good weeks this year. Beckham just had a good week. He might have a crap week. Well, he is going against Josh Norman. He's probably going to be pretty pumped. Never mind. Galladay could get a TD this week. Hilton could get another TD this week. I'm pretty dead even on the tight ends. Those guys might get a TD. They might not.
Yep. I think I'd give the edge to Gouch here very slightly. I think.
I don't think Aaron really has that great of a. Well, I mean, Aaron doesn't have a bad team. He just, I guess, doesn't win the matchups week to week. But I don't know. Yeah, I think Seagouch gets the win.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Moving on, we have one Johnny Football Please versus Mahomes is where the heart is. Another matchup where both teams badly need a win. Weston is looking to climb back into first place in his division, and Benny is looking to get to 500. Carson Wentz versus Mahomes. To me, Mahomes and Hill are going to do well every week, and I'm pretty much going to favor them over whoever they are opposing with only a few exceptions. Now, Michael Thomas might be one of those exceptions. He's very good. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I think Mahomes is good. I think definitely wins that matchup. Obviously, Wentz is going against Jacksonville, so I mean, Jacksonville hasn't been what it has been, but that's because its offense has just been so bad. But I think Mahomes definitely wins that matchup. But I think Ben's going to go to the well one too many times if he's starting Cohen and Howard again. I don't think it's going to work out this next week. He needs to pick one, and I think he needs to start Marlon Mack
Yeah,
uh, in
against
one of those
Oakland
positions.
especially.
I I honestly think he can start them both. Like, I don't know. I would probably stick with Cohen if I had to pick one, but yeah, I would probably start Mac this week. It's Oakland. I don't know.
Ben really needs the win. Sony Michelle went down for Weston, although Murray has been popping off. So right when Weston has one big guy goes down, another one is already waiting to take his place, a sign of good management. To me, Weston's team looks pretty solid despite the Michelle injury, and Ben sort of he needs certain teams to do really well. Like he needs the Chiefs to have a good game. He needs the Bears to have a good game. And he's very reliant on these things happening. But sort of perplexingly, he's also starting the Jets defense and the Jets kicker. So I think I would edge Weston here.
Yeah, I'm surprised that the projections is as close as it is. I think Weston's got three solid receivers, to cover for his running back kind of issues. And then, if he doesn't want to have to start, if, Murray, if Cook ends up playing and Murray, is going to share time, he has the option of putting Barner in on Monday night instead if he wants to try that out. I think Barner will have more than 4.8. Um, I think he'll get some time with James White. They always like to mix their running backs up.
Yeah, I think Weston wins.
Alrighty. On to the winless team versus the Aggie. Spencer facing off against the girl, Lily, and Zeke is on bye. So I don't think we have to spend too much time on this. Spencer is starting Winston. Is that true?
Yeah, I'm not sure yet. I'll
Well,
probably go with Winston, but
I think Brady and White have a big day, which is going to probably get Lily like 45, and but like Goskowski add him in, maybe at 60, maybe. But other than that, without Zeke, I don't see Lily winning this. Jackson.
Dude, you might be surprised. Brady and Buffalo. That just doesn't like I don't know the for some
their
reason
defense is good.
the
Their
Bills
defense is
always
good.
plays good against the Patriots. I don't know what it is. Like they were talking about this stat. Even I mean I know it's in Buffalo, but at Gillette they've lost like three times in the last like 53 games, and twice it's been when they played Buffalo. So they might not have a good game, but I think it depends on how much she's down by at that point. She may be down by just too much. She might get like maybe 30 or 40 out of that bottom half of her team. We'll see who she plugs in at running back. She didn't add anybody in the waiver, and she's got Gore projected 7 on her bench that she's got to plug in tomorrow. Uh, if she doesn't do it tomorrow, then he's not going to be in there because it's on Thursday.
She
So,
could do Montgomery too.
oh, is he? Okay, yeah. I don't know if you'd want to do that, but
And
I think
it's a
you'll win.
possibility.
I think you'll win, but I'm surprised that the projection is actually that close, and the fact that she has a bye person in.
They haven't really like Njoku. I think his projection is low compared to what it should be.
Smith's projection's kind of low.
I haven't decided if I'm going to play Smith yet. I think I might put in the San Fran guy, depending on whether Breida plays. So that's kind of what I'm watching, and I might plug in Hyde. I'm kind of reading the news and seeing like what people are saying is going to happen or what the coaches are saying.
I'm surprised that you said you thought, Goff was good for 30, but you're not starting him.
Yeah, I did. It's just one of those things. Like Green Bay's defense is good, and I like since he's one of the worst defenses against quarterbacks, and like I know, like there's like a series of outcomes, and like I don't think I need 30 to be Bully. That's the other thing too. I think
You just want like a solid output.
I want a higher floor rather than a higher ceiling. I think Goff's ceiling this week is higher, but I think Winston's floor is higher. Because since he's really bad, so like, and I'm still haven't. I could change my mind. I like to read the news.
I don't personally like Green Bay's defense. I don't think they have a good defense. I've seen a lot of times this year, running backs, in particular, just shredding Green Bay's defenses, and that's part of the reason why, Rodgers has gotten as many points as he has. He's been behind a lot.
Yeah. I don't know, and I might change my mind, but like I said, I don't like if I was playing like you, for instance, I probably would start Goff, because I think I would need a higher ceiling to win, and I would also kind of neutralize Gurley potentially and Woods. But
I don't really think it's going to be a big deal. I mean, Robbie Anderson and Larry Fitzgerald won't get more than 10, and Antonio Brown and Thielen will definitely get more than 10. Lindsey's good for 8. Ingram's good for 8, so I don't really think this one will be close.
Yep, I have Spencer in a blowout, frankly.
Yep, I think I win.
But it would be funny for you to be the first person to lose, sir. That's the bad thing about having to play her.
It is within the realm of outcomes.
The kiss of death is what that would be at the position you're in, Spencer. Let's move on to Jackson's game. Speaking of the kiss of death, people who have to play Jackson. Roethlisberger is facing Cleveland. Jackson has Gurley.
At home.
Yeah.
He plays a lot better at home.
And it's funny to me that pretty much everyone predicted, well, once Bell comes back, Jackson's team is going to suffer a little. Well, Bell's like, hey, guys, remember me? And people are sort of looking at him like, who the fuck are you? And wait, we got Connor. We don't need you. Connor's still a huge asset. Woods is back. I'm correct. Woods is healthy again.
Yeah, Woods has been healthy.
Yeah, I'm thinking of someone else.
Woods was the only one that was healthy.
Cup, it was injured.
I got him mixed up. But Adams has been solid. He continues to reel in touchdowns. It's looking scary for No Fried, who is getting very thin at running back, frankly.
Chubb, don't forget about Chubb. I think he'll have an all right game. Justin Tucker's had like 2 pretty not good games. Like 6 the last 2. I think he has a good week. And Colts D playing against one of the worst teams. Hopefully to get at least 10 from them. I think I'll have a good week. Gurley's going to run all over Green Bay. Connor's going to run all over the Browns. So
I'd say that you're almost a sure thing to win this.
But the hoop star is on bye, so I'm a little nervous.
Well, Melvin Gordon's on bye too, and so is
Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley. Like he did not plan that out.
Yeah,
I actually don't think it's like I kind of disagree with y'all's like bye week strategy. I don't think you worry about it too much because sometimes it's really nice if you just like you punt a week and then get all your buys out of the way. I think that it is kind of nice to do that because I've done that in years past and like it sucks, you're probably going to lose, but then like you don't have that detriment the rest of the year, which is
Are you okay with doing it 2 weeks in a row though?
No, I'm not saying the way I'm just throwing out an opinion because like I know in the past sometimes I've thought that was not too bad.
I'll be honest, I never really when I'm drafting I never am really looking at I'm not going to draft this guy because they have the same bye.
Yeah,
it's for me it's just never fallen that way. It's unlucky. Those are probably his first 2 picks was Gordon and Julio Jones. You know,
Well,
you're not really looking at buys at that point.
if you
That
even do
early.
that, like the odds of those guys being healthy by the time buys come around is like in a lot of cases, unlikely because of like the number of injuries in football. So like I don't even think it's worth it even if you did because like you could do all that planning and then have two guys get hurt and then you're screwed anyway. So
Yeah. I do give the advantage to Jackson here, though, pretty clearly.
yep.
Moving on to our final game, we have Oy vey, yours truly, facing off against old Crap 4. Some people call him Clap 4. And I have Drew Brees back, so you guys can just straight up take it away. What do you think?
I think crap for bacon starts off to a crap start on Thursday night
what
with
is this
Hopkins and
projection?
Watson.
How is he projected 90? In what world is that team going to hit 90?
It's he's not.
McCoy 11, Watson, Hopkins teaming up for a lot.
I mean, like, I guess if Deshaun Watson has 40 and then, like, Hopkins has 20, he could get there. But, like, it is not a good
Well,
projection.
McCoy will even play on Monday night?
I don't know. He's in concussion protocol, whatever that means.
And Carson, I really don't think he's that great, honestly. Do you guys like
Yeah, I mean, I
Carson?
think this is no. I mean, I don't dislike Carson. Like, I think it's a good guy to pick up in the waiver wire, but you don't ever really know what he's going to do. He's at 18, then he had 0 when he didn't play, 12, then he had 5. You know, he's kind of a share time back. He's not, just someone that I love, but when you're reeling at running back like he is, you kind of, it's kind of nice. I mean, Barber's his third back.
So I have some food for thought for y'all.
Go.
So I've noticed that this year, like, the bottom teams just seemed really, really bad, like worse so than normal. And, like, my theory is that with more active owners coming in, like, they basically take all the value from the waiver wire. So, like, the bottom teams who, like, don't even put in their claims, like, on Wednesday or Tuesday night, whenever you want to call it, like, they don't, like, then they let all the good players get picked out and then they kind of get the leftovers. And I'm wondering if that's why, like, we have some really atrocious teams this year. It's just like in the past the leftovers were better, but like now that there's like I would say like 8 really active owners, maybe 7, there's no one there,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, it's the thing is though, it's just like there's not a lot of running backs available in general. That's just how it is. I loaded up on running backs. There's other people that probably have a lot of running backs, and a lot of first round picks didn't pan out. Cook, McCoy, Fournette. So it's a thin position.
It is a thin position, and if you have an injury, it suddenly becomes a very untenable situation oftentimes. And looking at Clapfor's team, he's always been a guy that sort of drafts unorthodox, and a lot of times that can either lead to you winning a lot of games, having a good year, maybe making the playoffs, or having teams like this where it sort of looks like a disaster. So personally, I would give myself the edge in this game. Cooks, Green, Breeze, Yeldon, Johnson. I'm really firing on all cylinders here. I don't have any big bye weeks. Do you guys agree? Do you guys disagree? Jackson, who are you giving it to?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely give you the victory this week. I mean, I would be surprised that he breaks 90.
All right, Spencer.
Same thing.
Okay. Thus concludes the preview episode of Week 8 of the This Week in Fantasy series. This is Wiley signing off. Like, comment, subscribe.